Laptops for secondary schools was just a start. We fixed the economy and got it back on track. The Constitution Amendment, we got it passed, yeah, so that our natural development it would last, yeah. Inflation reduced, foreign investment on the rise, and now we're right on track. We're seeing brighter skies, yeah, and all our sporting centers have been done, yeah. Come on now, everyone, there's more to come, no. So don't you let nothing stand in your way. Remember the children's future starts with today. Ain't no stopping us now. Kamla is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. You know we got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. Kamla is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. You know we got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. Kamla is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. Kamla is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. You know we got the groove. Ain't no stopping us now. Kamla is on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. You know we got the groove. Victory is on its way. You can hold us down. Stand with the rising sun. We're sure to keep you strong. TNT, I know that we got a long way to go. Just trust in Kamla. I know that we will grow. Yeah, she believes in your voice, defends your vote. She's always here to fight for sweet Trinbago. Yeah, so much development that has been done. Come on now, everyone, there's more to come. Yeah, so don't you let nothing.
Again, we'd like to give another special round of applause to our Prime Minister, the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, our leader. The Prime Minister's vision is for meaningful partnership with the corporate sector. So we would partner with the business community to create sport and entertainment centers with retail outlets, corporate boxes, and even naming rights. You will also see the first ever women's semi-professional league in Trinidad and Tobago that will provide income for women and allow them to play regularly at a decent level. We will empower our women through sport and motivate them to escape the pattern of life highlighted by teenage pregnancies and low-income employment. I share our Prime Minister's vision of sports for all. In this regard, we will partner with a top English Premiership team to offer a differently abled football camp with the best international coaches who would train locals in this specialized field. I also intend to recommend to the Cabinet the completion of the Northern Regional Ground as well as the Brian Lara Cricket Ground in Santa Cruz, and the ground right here in Phase 2 La Horquetta will get work on it done as well. We will encourage sporting organizations to become more accountable and self-sufficient because we are committed to ensuring that every penny of your tax dollars is well spent. I support our elite athlete program, and I look forward to these athletes motivating and mentoring our young people especially those with behavioral problems. I do not see my assignment as a job. Sports is a passion for me. So I intend to be involved every step of the way and in everything related to sport. And that means a continuing dialogue with the athletes and other stakeholders. Sport is my life. Sport has made me who I am. The Prime Minister's faith in the youths has provided me with an opportunity to become a role model for young people. Thank you, Prime Minister, for believing in me. For not only believing in me, but also believing in our youth. Today, I am humbled to hold the portfolio of Minister of Sport, which is the ultimate honor that my country could bestow upon me. I have always played to win, and Prime Minister, I don't intend to change that habit now. I will work with you and our team to continue to earn that trust every day, and to do it with honor and integrity. Great teams don't just play, they play to win, and we will win. Our Prime Minister has served our country for decades, putting people first, leading with compassion and commitment to service. That commitment started from the most humble beginnings in rural Trinidad, took her into politics at the local government level, and then onto the national stage, and finally to lead our great nation. She has redefined service and leadership and earned respect for herself, not only country, but at home here and on the global stage, where she has walked side by side with world leaders. Yet, our Prime Minister remains a humble servant of the people. She works only for the people and has a passion for children and youth. We are blessed to have her as our leader. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now with great pride that I invite our Prime Minister to address you.
Everybody let me see you clap those hands. Come now and let me see you clap those hands. Come now and let me see you clap those hands. Everybody let me see you clap those hands. Come now and let me see you clap those hands.
We love you too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Minister Brent Sancho, Minister of Sports. Please give our new Sports Minister a very hearty UNC. Congratulations for his maiden speech on platforms such as this. You know and I know persons like Brent represent the future. Because you also know that in the house of the rising sun, there is place and space for everyone in Orlando. One moment, please. Just trying to get the technology right. Thank you. So I'm saying Brent and persons like him represent our future. Brent and persons like him represent our youth. His generation and those who come must carry a torch when we someday must leave the political stage. And so we know we have a very powerful potential in our young people. And we must have the courage to let them join us so that we may change old ideas and practices to enrich our governance as we aspire to build a strong, a united nation in which everyone would be equal and would have the potential and the freedom to achieve their full development. So, sisters and brothers, join me as we welcome Brent Sancho, our new Minister of Sports. Join me also in welcoming our other new ministers who are here tonight. Our new Minister of National Security, Brigadier Alfonso, please stand. Thank you. Our new Attorney General, Garvin Nicholas. And of course, there are other new ministers. I'm trying to spot them. I saw Christine Hussain, our new Minister of the People and Social Development. Down there. All those new ministers have joined us. And of course, let us also welcome our continuing ministers. Your own Member of Parliament, Mr. Jairam Simangal. Minister Clifton Dikoto, Minister of Finance Larry Hawaii, Minister of Education Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, Minister of Local Government Marlene Kudre, Minister Indar Singh in the Ministry of Finance, Minister Hadid in Tourism, Minister Bharat in Trade, Minister Rambachan in Works, Minister MacLeod, Labour, Minister Kevin Ramnarayan, Energy, Minister Ramona Ramdial in the Environment, Minister Dr. Botiwari, Planning. On my left, Minister Dr. Rupert Griffith, Minister Dr. Khan, and Minister Lincoln Douglas, and all those ministers who will continue as part of our team as we go forward for Victory 2015. I ask you again, as Dr. Moonilal, our continuing Minister and Leader of Government Business, he's up here. He asked you and I ask you again, are you ready? Are you ready for 5 more years of progress? Are you ready for Victory 2015? My friends, my family here in this constituency, La Horquetta, Talparo, members of the UNC family, I say a good night to all of you, a very warm good night, good evening. I thank you for coming out to this, the restart of our Monday night meetings, in your numbers, inside the hall, outside the hall, on the road, everywhere is a sea of yellow. Okay. And so, you know, as we stand here tonight in this Brazil high school, I think we can consider this as somewhat sacred ground, because this school represents for me part of my eternal dream for the children of our nation. There is a plaque outside. Those of you coming in may have seen it. When you leave, you will see it. There's a plaque outside which says, that on September 25th, 2000, Prime Minister Baste Pandey and Education Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar officially opened this Brazil High School. As I speak, there are at present 435 children enrolled in this school. Many hundreds would have passed through and graduated from 2000 until this year, 2014, would have passed through this school. And you know what happened? Before we built this school, before we built the schools throughout the secondary schools to achieve universal secondary education, your children here had to go to Arima, had to go to Sandy Grande, had to wake up all hours of the morning to get a school place. And more than that, they would tell many of your children in this community that they failed the common entrance SEA exam. Why? Because they did not have school places for them. And so we changed that in the year 2000. We built schools like this one, also in Manzanilla, Valencia, Blanchisseuse. We built in Tobago, the Mason Hall Secondary. In fact, under the Pandey administration, we built 52 schools. 52 schools. Our vision then remains the same that we have today. Not one child must be left behind. Not a single child must be left behind. And so we continue for training. And that vision continues to inspire me in my mission, which is to ensure that we have education and training opportunities for all, so we can prepare you for the world of work, so that you can get sustainable jobs. That is why, in the last 4.5 years, you would be maybe surprised, some of you, but you would want to know that since we came into office in 2010, since you hired us to run this country, we have built about 85 schools. And you know what? We have another 89 schools under construction. So what must we do? We must not stop that development. Do you want Rowley as your Prime Minister? You must make sure election 2015 to return the partnership to government, so we can continue the development work in education, we can complete the schools and all the other projects that we have. I talk again about our vision for education and training for you to get sustainable jobs. And that is why we have given out over 95,000 laptops to school children and teachers. And we have expanded the gate. We expanded the gate, and the gate remains wide open. Do not get distracted by PNM propaganda that we will close down gate. The gate remains open. We have now surpassed, gone beyond our target for tertiary education in this country. In 2010, we had promised you that we would have, by May 2015, 60% tertiary education. I am proud to say that as at December 31st last year, we have gone beyond that target, and we have 65.23% of tertiary education. And that means that 57,000 persons in this country are benefiting now from tertiary level education. We will become the first country in this hemisphere, the first ever in our history and that of this hemisphere. We will exceed 70% in the tertiary education sector. And you ask me, yes, you may well ask me, what is in it for you here in La Horquetta, Talparo? We have built the MIC Omera Technology Center in your constituency. We have established throughout the country 12 NESC centers. But for you here, Cabinet has approved lands to construct an NESC center in Talparo. We have also opened in this constituency a public access learning system known as PALS. And we have used YTEP. With this, members of the public, you can access free of charge internet services at that PALS center. And literally, you could say on the pavement, off the road, you can go and get free internet access in your own constituency. In addition, we have been issuing awards for something known as CVQ. That is a Caribbean Vocational Qualification. And right here at the Brazil High School, those awards have been given out and will continue to give them out to members of this community. In addition, YTEP has classes in this very school. For all of you, La Horquetta, Talparo, and surrounding areas, you can access the YTEP classes here. Not too far away, facilitated by our innovative bypass road, the Valencia bypass road. I'm sure your MP spoke of it. Those of you from this area, you can take advantage of the recently opened COSTAT campus at Sandy Grande. And as I speak of opportunities for training and learning, you can also access our state-of-the-art Nurses Training Academy, the first of its kind at El Dorado. For many of you who live in this community and others throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we established centers known as workforce assessment centers. And what these do is that if you possess skills or competencies, but you do not have a certificate, you can be the skills of a plumber, a mason, a carpenter, a beautician, any of these skills, but you have no piece of paper, no qualification. You can go into the Workforce Assessment Center. They will assess you, and if you reach up to scratch, they give you a certificate, which you can then take to go to get a sustainable job. If you do not come up to par, they will take you at your will, if you wish, and then they will train you and then give you your qualification. So far, since we introduced the Workforce Assessment Centers, we have touched the lives of over 5,000 persons in Trinidad and Tobago. Only on Friday last, we launched for the first time in the history of our country, through the MIC, what we know as a welding caravan. This welding caravan is fully techno-driven, with simulators for welding, and it will go through rural parts of our country to give you access for training in welding. So take advantage of these opportunities. With YTEP, we have over 50 centers of learning, and only on Saturday, YTEP launched for the first time a fully loaded cosmetology salon on wheels, a training bus that will come to you in your communities. Through COSTAT, we have 6 centers. Advancing as we speak, construction of the COSTAT headquarters and connector roads will be serviced by PTSC buses from Talparo to get there in Chaguanas. The bus service will also service students from your community who wish to attend the NESC State-of-the-Art Technology Center and heavy equipment training at Woodford Lodge. As we speak, foundation works have been completed, and construction of the UTT campus, aviation campus, the first of its kind, an aviation campus where you could get training to learn to fly. You can get there, as I say, at the Camden Airstrip in Couva. Work has commenced on construction. So these are some of the projects which we will want to complete. A good first term deserves another term. Do you agree? And so we need to complete the work. We need to complete the work that we have begun. Now, whilst we are very clear on our vision and our mission in education and training, because we see it as the best tool to build our nation by equipping our citizens with the right skills and the right competencies to get sustainable jobs. But what is the stance of the PNM? Where do they stand when it comes to building schools and creating learning opportunities? I want to remind you of the words of Member of Parliament Colum Imbert in the Parliament on June 9th, 2000, which was a time when we were opening this school and the other schools across the country. And I quote from the Hansard, June 9th, 2000, MP Imbert. But they could find sites for 10 secondary schools in the most remote parts of the country. They are building schools in the middle of the jungle, in the forests, for Dwen and Lap to occupy. That is management UNC style. There is nobody living there. That's you they're talking about, and your children who attended the Brazil High School. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, go and tell them that. You are calling them that. Dwen and Lap. Well, children and parents and families of this community and of those who have attended this Brazil High School, I want to ask Dr. Rowley today whether he will condemn those statements of MP Imbert. And I want to ask Mr. Coffey, who wants to be your member of parliament for La Horquetta Talparo. Let us ask him whether he agrees that the Brazil High School was built for your children because they were Dwen and Lap. Let us ask him if he will condemn the statements made by MP Imbert at that time. About a year later, 1 year later, MP Assam in the Parliament, speaking in the Parliament, January 22, 2001, he confronted Mr. Imbert's comment in the House of Representatives. Dr. Rowley's comments then were so unparliamentary that the Speaker had to ask that their remarks be struck off the records. They were too offensive to be left on the Hansard record. And I read from the Hansard of 22nd January 2001. Honorable Mervyn Assam, I think it needs to be repeated. The same member for Diego Martin East got up in this house, and I hate to have to repeat it, but I think it needs to be repeated, that we were building schools in Aripo, Brazil, Blanchisses and La Fillette, in other parts of the rural areas of this country to house Dwens, parrots, and wild animals. That is how the Member of Parliament, Diego Martin East, described the flowers of this nation, your children and my children. Dr. Rowley, words expunged. Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, go to the Hansard,